Yeah, I kind of like the stereotype question because a lot of people, I think, are interested in that, but they're afraid to say things like against other races.
Did you find that the answers were what you expected when you asked that question in your group?
Yeah, just because of media.
Okay.
I think media portrayed all that.
What are some stereotypes that you think other racial groups believe about your race?
Loud, mean,
lazy,
ghetto.
Well, obviously, we can't dance. We don't have rhythm. We're kind of boring. Yet at the same time, I think a lot of people think white people are all kind of yuppies to a certain extent.
Like Eastern Europeans being kind of poor, being kind of like from like the Italian representations, like mobbish, like they're involved with mafia and stuff. We have our own stereotypes, specifically like, you know, Bosnians, Croatians. When you say that word over there, you have an image. When you say Bosnian, you have an image. When you say Croatian,
we're smart.
I always get Asians can't drive, and I make that stereotype come true, so I'm glad I can do that.
I always get smart and kind of goody-goody and kind of like perfect-ish, so.
Stereotypes that you think many people in your racial group believe about other racial groups.
I know some of my friends like believe that all Asians are smart. I remember in high school, there's this one Asian kid that everybody went to for math homework, like, you gotta help me, you gotta help me, so.
Like that most white girls are stuck up and prissy.
I know for a while I thought all Caucasians were like really affluently privileged, and I realized that not all are. That some struggle just as much as others do, and not worse.
Well, with African Americans, they're like, oh, they're loud, they can dance. When you go to church, it's like really exciting. And I've never been to an African American church, but I've heard that like they sing and they're just really passionate about it.
Well, I don't know. With me, a lot of the time I spend is with like people in the whole hacker community and like computer club community. And for one reason or another, like there just aren't a lot of black people involved with that. I don't know, but I do spend a lot of time. It sounds like I'm being a stereotype, but there's like a lot of Asian people involved in that. But I have like, I'd say I have a pretty diverse group of friends outside of that.
African Americans can be considered as, you have two extremes, either lazy or like extremely athletic on the other extreme. Asians, on the other hand, can be considered like the opposite, like extremely hard workers. And if some people see an Asian who's a gas station attendant, they're gonna ask them, you know, why aren't you working with computers?
So do you guys feel there are any truth to these stereotypes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all very smart, good-looking people.
Well, they're called stereotypes because the majority of the people do what they are, so I think I try to rebel against it. I passed chemistry in high school with an F+, so I think I'm not that smart at science.
I think it's all about the individual. Some people do get caught up in that mess, though, just to be honest.
I do agree with like they can't dance or don't have rhythm, and that's really also the most individual as well. I mean, I think it's somewhat true, but on the other hand, it's not, because then you have this, people who are just amazing in different aspects.
Okay, for a kick-off, I don't stand out because I'm white, and I think that there's too much of the discussion is about black and white. But that's not really what racial differentiation is all about. And I'm from a tiny racial group in a different country, and I very rarely engage in discussion along those differences, because unless you're black or a different color, don't really gives me a second glance. It's actually more frustrating in a way for me, because I have differences, and sometimes harder to discuss those differences because there's lots of assumption. Because one, I speak English, but I don't. I speak British English, not American English. And two, as I said, I don't stand out, so it's an interesting one. Non-black international students may have their own hard time of it, but we're lost in the black-white debate. which frustrates me.
How do you respond when you hear a racist joke or comment?
I joke back. Honestly, why cause more tension than causing a fight over something that is probably stereotypical to begin with? So, I don't like to be called chink. That's one, because that's Chinese and I'm Korean. So if you're gonna call me something, call me gook, because that's the right one to use. So that's the only one that really offends me more than anything.
Do you guys call one another gooks?
Oh, no.
I laugh uncomfortably, and then I just, like, I'm not gonna send them a Christmas card or anything. You know, like, I'm not, that's about it. I mean, I don't joke back with them. I try to, you know, duck and run every time I see them, but that's about it.
I mean, in my situation, I joke back, yeah, but I also try to make it a point to kind of basically try to tell him that that's just a stereotype, that I don't fit the stereotype if I'm good at math or anything like that, and that, I don't know, when I joke back, I don't really try to feel more to the fire. I just try to laugh about it and take it in another direction and kind of use it as another way to teach about my culture. I don't know, it's kind of weird to explain.